say record on this. Okay, and just to let the guests know that we record a meeting so that, and we host them on YouTube so that you can go back and see and assess yourself and make sure that you do a self-reflection of how you spoke, what could you have spoken better, or how could have you spoken better, and if you want to listen to somebody again. So that is the idea behind recording a meeting and hosting it on YouTube. All right, so with that, let's start with our session. Now, this is a caution sign, right? A warning sign. The warning sign is for everybody because I want to let you know that today it's a very, very, very generalized section about chip designing. I'm not going to go into unnecessary details. It's going to be from a very high level. So if there are engineers or development folks who know the inside out, or people who are really interested in pulling their phones apart to see where is the motherboard, what is the processor, where is everything, then you're in for a disappointment because you'll already know what I'm going to share, right? But having said that, I'm going to put it in the most interesting way that I can. With that, let's move on. So there was an ad long back which used to say about Tata, okay, that there's a little bit of Tata inside all of us. Does anybody remember that ad? Because that in that ad, they used to show that starting from your morning cup of tea, Tata is a part of our life with every single activity we do or perform. I think today, all of you will agree, it's the same with chips or electronic gadgets, isn't it? Can you relate with one or more of these examples displayed on the screen? All of us have cars. We have touchscreen panels. In fact, at one point in time, I'll tell you that my son, when we wanted to board cabs, my son insisted that we board Ola cabs because they had a touchscreen panel on the hind seat, on the rear seat, so that they could play with that touchscreen panel. Okay. What do those touchscreen panels have internally? They are TVs, right? They have chips. Safety airbags in cars, LED displays. Electric cars are all nothing but chips, everything. The window roller buttons, air fryers, microwaves, refrigerators that we use, everything has chips, right? Even your watches and of course phones and laptops, okay? Apple fans, we know you're there. Medical field. So not only the huge machines that we have in hospitals, which perform functions like CAT scans or MRI, they do heavyweight tests on us, even small things like digital thermometers or pacemakers in our hearts, they also have chips. So there's a little bit of chip for all of us, right? Okay, more on the other side of this meeting. But let me tell you, before we proceed further or to the next section, that especially for the guests, that there are 3 sections that we have in any typical Toastmasters meeting. The first section is where people come or Toastmasters come and deliver a prepared speech on the stage. So they already have objectives, they have topics that they decide to deliver, and they give speeches, okay? There are evaluators who evaluate them. So this is section number 1. Section number 2 is impromptu speaking, where we give you random topics. There's a table topic master who will give you random topics to speak on. This section helps you develop your thinking on the feet, like what Uma ma'am was saying, that's thinking and answering in English, right? That is the section that benefits most. And this is the section where all guests are welcome to participate, okay? Section number 3 is close to our heart. It's called the evaluation section. So we have one general evaluator and we have his team members. There's a timer, there's an hour counter. The general evaluator will introduce himself. He will evaluate a meeting from the start till the end. He's like the chief judge here. All right. So before I start with the prepared speeches section, let me invite Toastmaster Diptendu as the general evaluator for today. Right? Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepti. So the year is 1995. The city is Silvassa, and Rakesh is a boy studying in 5th standard in Lions English School, Silvassa. Now Rakesh had parents who were IITians, and Rakesh himself was decent in studies. Year after year, he used to give exams, he used to study, appear in the exams, and scored decently well. He was an average student. Now, let me replace the word decent with average. Sometimes he scored 60%, sometimes 65. He put in more effort during some exams, he scored 80% marks. But there were always many, many people who were way better than him in terms of the marks they scored. But his parents being IITians, and since he belonged to an academic background, he always used to think, why am I not getting good marks? And the answer was there in the answer sheet. He could see the answers that he had written incorrect, and he could see the cross with the red pen. He could see 0 marks assigned out of 5 at many places. He went through these experiences in class 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 throughout his entire schooling. What he realized when he reached college was that really he cannot be the best, because there are so many people who are going to be much better than you. In fact, there are going to be many who are worse than you in terms of the marks that you score. But what's most important is the learning that you derive from the mistakes you make. In the school, he was told that you are making a mistake, but seldom was he told that how can you improve upon your mistakes. The overbearing sense was that you have done wrong in so many questions. You have been doing wrong from the time you were in grade 5 till the age until you reached grade 12. But seldom teachers suggested him how could he improve upon his mistakes. But at Toastmasters, we believe in evaluate to motivate. And that is why our speech evaluations are structured in CRC format, which is commendation, recommendation, and commendation. You are bound to do certain things well, even if you blank out during your speech, and it is the evaluator's job to help you see what you are doing well. It is going to be the evaluator's job to help you see the areas of improvement which you can go back home and work upon. And not only the speech evaluators, there is going to be a team of supplementary role players. After all, if you are appearing for a exam of maths, it is not just the algebra and calculus that you have to be good at. There are some peripherals that you have to be very well aware of, otherwise you won't be able to crack the questions. So we are going to have a timer, an half parent, a grammarian, and an active listener amidst us. So let us have a introduction of the supplementary role players in today's meeting. So Toastmaster Uma, are you with us? Toastmaster Uma is going to play
Yes.
the role of timer. I request her to introduce the role of a timer.
Role of the timer is to tell the convey speaker that the time is either I'll show green screen. I'll show it from my phone right now. Like I'll show if the prepared. There are three parts: prepared speech, evaluation, and table topic. For prepared speech, it's 5 to 7 minutes, and evaluation 2 minutes, table topic 1 minute, 2 minutes. So at the first signal will be green. At for the prepared speech, I'll show green screen, and then yellow. If it is yellow, and then the third last red, there is a grace of 30 seconds in each speech, and I'll prepare a table and share it with you all at the end of the meeting, whoever has followed the time or exceeded the time. That's it.
TM Oma, sorry to interrupt. If you can show the screen, like background of the screen, it would be great, because yeah.
For that,
if not, that's fine. Then it's fine. But it's
I am
to recognize during the speech.
Since I'm not logged in as a admin of the account, so if
all
this
right,
is not feasible, I'll work out something else, or I don't know. That was the only way out I could think of.
Uma, it is okay for today. All right, so all the participants in today's meeting should keep the gallery mode on so that they can look at Uma's screen as she flashes her phone screen with green, yellow, and red signals.
Right.
Right. And for prepared speeches, the time duration is going to be 5 minutes to 7 minutes. The speaker has to speak for a minimum of 4 minutes 30 seconds up till a maximum of 7 minutes 30 seconds. The green signal will be shown at 5 minute mark. The yellow signal will be shown at 6 minute mark, and the red signal will be shown at 7 minute mark. In the table topics session, the time limit is going to be from 1 to 2 minutes. The speaker has to speak for a minimum of 1 minute, and the green card will be shown at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. And you can speak for a maximum of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. For the evaluation, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes. So Toastmaster Uma, I hope you are aware of these timings, and we will be looking at your screen throughout as we continue to speak. Let's move to the next supplementary role player, that of Dramedian. And today's Dramedian is Toastmaster Deepak. I request Deepak to explain the role of Dramedian.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. So, fellow Toastmasters and guests, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listen carefully to their language usage. I will take a note of any misuses of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is ineffable, which means something which is undescribable or unspeakable and that cannot be expressed in words. An example of using this word is Ed felt an ineffable joy at the sight of his daughter walking towards him from the plane. I will give a word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called upon during the meeting. I would request everyone to encourage any speaker who uses the word of the day to give them a thumbs up, and that will motivate them to use it further. So that's it from me. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak. The third supplementary role player is going to be the R counter. Do we have an R counter for today's meeting? Or would anyone want to like to take up the role of R counter from those who are present in the meeting?
I can do that.
Or ma'am, you are already the Toastmaster of the day, so it will be a bit more challenging. So Toastmaster Rashmi, can you help us with this role? Double up as the R counter as well as our activation.
Sure, I will do.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you. So would you like to explain the role of R counter then?
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Filler words or grudges cause an interruption in the speech, which distract the attention of the audience. They reduce the impact of the speech. I shall make a note of the pauses, filler words, repetitions, and filler words used by speakers and role players. Filler words are words like, I mean, right, well, so. Unintentional sounds like uh, will also be noted by me. Any unintentional and excessively long pauses during the speeches will be noted by me. I will submit my report in the evaluation session.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashmi. And I would return the favor by also saying that Toastmaster Rashmi will also be the active listener for today's meeting, and she will be listening to the entire meeting very attentively, and she will ask and come up with fun questions for all of us at the end of the meeting during the general evaluation section. So, Toastmaster of the day, I hand the virtual stage back to you. This was the introductory part of the general evaluation.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu. Okay, so in the next part of the segment for chip designing, we will cover what goes inside a chip. Okay. So here's my screen. Okay. How many of us remember this kind of a schematic diagram from school science classes? Raise your hand to let me know. Deepak remembers, Diptendu remembers, Navjot, Uma ma'am. Yes, everybody
Yeah.
remembers.
Yeah, I
These
do
are-
remember, but was not good at it.
That's okay. Neither were we. Satnam also raised his hand. Yes, we remember all these designs from school, right? This is a design of a typical electronic circuit, right? Now, when we make this a very complicated circuit, what does it become? It ultimately becomes a chip, all right? And this is a chip. A chip is the one which is also called an integrated circuit or IC. That's the popular term that we get to hear. Okay. But IC is a generic chip or a generic microchip. So for example, there's this little chip. If you can see on the camera, visible to you? Just speak out a yes? Yes. So this is a chip. Now, if this is a generic chip, you can fit it in the microwave and give it an instruction to heat food for 10 seconds, right? If it's a generic chip, you can probably put it in the car and ask it to show the petrol bars, okay? How much petrol is still filled in your tank. If it's a generic chip, you can probably put it in your mouse. And this is actually taken out from one of my mouse pointers, okay, my mouse device. So I could use, okay, if it's a generic chip, it can be put there. ASIC or ASICs are application specific chips or electronic item pieces. So that means that they are meant to perform specific function. For example, there could be a chip in our phone which actually is only supposed to take camera pictures, and that cannot be put in the microwave or in the car or even in the mouse. Okay. So I just wanted to familiarize you with the terminology, an integrated circuit or an IC versus a ASIC. ASIC is an application specific integrated chip. Okay. In any electronic circuit, we have three main components. Okay. This is also what we've done in school. If we did not pay attention then, let's just pay a little attention now. So there are three main components: transistors, resistors, and capacitors. You can easily identify transistors because they have three long pins. Okay. Okay. It is the middle pin which actually helps the flow of electricity. Okay. Resistors stop or slow down the flow of electricity, and capacitors store electricity. So on any given chipboard, I wish I could zoom this and show it to you. You can actually see a lot of wires which connect these three main components. Okay. And it is a play of these three main components that forms an electronic circuit. And lots of circuits together, making it more complicated, forms a chip. Okay. That is what an electronic chip is all about. We'll come to the design process in the next segment. So, or after the next segment actually. So what is our next segment? It is our prepared speeches. We have two prepared speeches today. Both are level 2 speeches, which means that our speakers have already given around 4 to 5 speeches in a Toastmasters meeting. Okay. Our first speech is from a Toastmaster who has joined us or who came to us through a joint meeting. He loves to lift weights, and he was working with the roofing industry in Canada at one point in time. Any guesses? Anybody knows who that speaker is? Well, that speaker is Toastmaster. Yes, that's right. That speaker is Toastmaster Navjot Barar. But before Navjot starts his speech, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Lokesh, on the virtual stage so that he can speak out the objectives that Toastmaster Navjot will achieve through his speech today. So Toastmaster Lokesh, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepthi. Well, it's wonderful to know chip designing, and in fact, I just got to know or took attention of this when the car delivery is getting delayed, and there were like months and months of waiting. And so I say, what the hell? What is this chip shortage? How is it related to the car? So anyway, Navjot Brar is going to give his level 2 project 1 speech, which is leadership styles in the path of dynamic leadership. The title will be Leader at its Core. Toastmaster Navjot Brar, Leader at its Core. Back to Toastmaster Deepti Sanu.
Thank you for speaking out the objectives and the pathway, Toastmaster Lokesh. So, Toastmaster Navjot, can we do a quick audio video check? We can see you moving. Just say hello. It's a great day.
Hello, it's a great day.
All right. Thank you. So here we go. Toastmaster Navjot Brar, leader at its core. Leader at its core, Toastmaster Navjot Brar.
Iron Man, real Iron Man, or I would say the real life Iron Man. By this time, most of you already got a hint, and some might be guessing whom I'm going to talk about. Yeah. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm going to talk about the car guy, the rocket man, the centi-billionaire, Elon Musk. No doubt, Elon is a genius and has led the team and the companies that are most innovative of all time. But today, I'm not going to talk about how wealthy he is, what asset he possesses. Today, I'm going to reveal the real secret. The real secret behind the massive success of Elon is his leadership style. Today, I will reveal the 3 qualities that has a huge impact on me that I learned from Elon. And it has impacted my leader and leadership style. The number 1 quality that I loved about Elon is he's biased towards action. He doesn't go in analysis, paralysis, and waste time. He takes action fast. And most of the time, it's too fast. Does it work all the time? The answer is no. And most of the times, yes, it works. He says in his South African accent, actions leads to clarity, and inaction leads to doubt. I implemented this in my life. 10 months back, I decided to deliver 2 speeches every week in Toastmaster class. At that time, I didn't know what would be my speech title, what would be the content, what would be the structure, which clubs I should deliver in, and most importantly, how I'm going to fit all of this into my schedule. But guess what? Today I'm here in front of you guys, have delivered more than 40 speeches in different Toastmasters clubs. So take action. Do not go into the minute details. Just make a commitment and stop. The number 2 quality from Elon that I picked is being positive. No doubt, Elon is extremely positive person. Knowing there are only 5 to 10% for the success of SpaceX, he still went away for it. After failing 3 times in a row, everybody said, no, Elon, it's crazy, it's suicidal. Even craziness will say, no, Elon, it's too crazy. Guess what? Elon is Elon. He said, guys, we are going to launch it for the 4th time. And this time, we are going to do it in less time compared to all 3. And he did it. Not only this, during the early days of Tesla, investors, suppliers, everybody said, no, it should not, and it will not work. And guess what? Elon took all those projects in his hand and started working on all the projects. Sooner, he able to perform all those tasks. And all of a sudden, he fired the entire departments of the people who said it cannot be done. He keeps it simple. No work, no action, no result, and no pay. When I got into sales, everybody said no, and no. My family said no. My friends said no. Relatives said no. Fellow workers, employee at the previous jet said no, Navjot. You know nothing about sales, and very few people make into sales, if not a stable job. I said, all right. I got into it, And I make a decision to knock twice the doors in the same neighborhood wherever I go every time. And guess what? After a month or so, my income was 1.5 times than the previous one. So be positive. Nobody knows what will happen, but be positive. And number 3 quality that we should have, and every successful leader has, is extreme work ethic. Friends, fellow Toastmasters, we all want to be successful, lead a great life, being rich and wealthy. But very few people want it better and more than others. And among these very few people are very few people who got whatever it takes. And Elon belongs to this category. When he talks about working 16, 17 hours a day, it is a norm, not an exception. And he is doing it for not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, not for a year or decade, decades. Initially, investors were not ready to invest in Tesla, but few came up and invested in Tesla, not because of Elon or his idea, but just because of his work ethic. They knew that Elon will not let a single stone unturned, and that's why they invested in it. Earlier, I used to work like 50, 60 hours, and I used to think like I'm working a lot. But once I read about Elon and his craziness with the work ethic, I added 20 hours to my work schedule, and the results were obvious. Now you will be thinking of Joe, it's great to be positive, it's great to take action fast, and it's great to have extreme work ethic. But your title says lead at its core, and your pathway says, or your evaluation says leadership styles. Yes, this is leadership. Now let me ask you a question. Are we the same person a couple of hours or a day before? No, we were employer, and now we are a communicator, a leader in making, or already a leader. But my question is that we will be the same person a couple of hours later, or tomorrow, or on Monday? No, we will be again the husbands, wives, fathers, sons, moms, and dads, girlfriend, boyfriends, employers. So no one thing defines a leadership. It's a set of qualities. We can grab as many good qualities we can. Same with the Toastmasters. Maybe your pathway is innovative, humorous, presentation mastery. But guess what? We all leading to one thing, being a leader, being a communicator. And that's lead at its core. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Navjot. Yes, in fact, Elon Musk, and my favorite quote of him is when he says that it is possible for any ordinary man to be extraordinary. I think my belief in that quote has just increased many-fold after listening to your speech. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us through this speech. Next up, I will request 1 minute. I'll give 1 minute to everybody so that they can post their feedback on the chat for Toastmaster Navjot. I can start or I can keep a track of time. That is not an issue. So your time starts now. Everybody, please feel free to share your thoughts or your comments or your encouragement to Toastmaster Navjot. Okay, I back count from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you. So while others are typing and sending in their feedback, I would now like to invite our speaker number 2 on the virtual podium. Our second speaker for today is Toastmaster Mehak. our president. And before I invite her as a speaker on the stage, I would like to invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Diptendu, to share the speech objectives. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepti. So today, Toastmaster Mehak is going to deliver Level 2's Project 1, and the path that she is pursuing is Presentation Mastery. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The speech could be of any type. It could be humorous, informational, or of any style that the member chooses. The member will deliver a well-organized speech and also, the most importantly, incorporate feedback from today to the next speech. And the member can actually continue with the same speech in the next one or come up with new content. So I wish Toastmaster Mehak the very best and hand the stage back to Toastmaster Deep.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. So, Mehak, can we do a quick audio video check for you?
Yes, sure.
Okay, I could hear you very clearly and I can see you moving. So there's no lag. So you ready?
Yes.
All right. So Toastmaster Mehak, what you said, Toastmaster Mehak.
It was the beginning, the 1st of July 2021. The beginning of new ECK was elected as the Vice President Education of my club. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, Toastmasters and my fellow guests, today I'm going to talk about my communication styles and my experiments with communication styles during my reign as Vice President of Education. Being a newbie, I tried the approach of beg, borrow, and bully. Begging. So please, will you be able to take the role of teamwork in our club? Ma'am, would you like to give a speech in our club? Urgent requirement for a teamwork. Please book your slots, dear members. Borrowing. Good evening, Toastmaster. I am ready to play the role of teamwork in your club, but only if you play the role of teamwork in our club. Bully. You would have to play the role of teamwork in our club. But this approach failed terribly. Then I thought of experimenting with different styles of communication. Everyone in this world has a unique style of communication, isn't it? And but what is that particular thing in someone's talk or in someone's speech that sounds as baritone to some and someone for you might want to give a slap to? Well, it's all in the communication style. So at first, I tried the direct communication style. Well, direct communicators, they do not beat around the bush. They are very specific about what they say. They just quickly come to the point. And what I did was, hello team, and why have you joined Toastmasters? There are 3 reasons that I will be telling to you that why you should attend a Toastmasters meeting. You can continue to make uninterrupted progress in your communication and leadership journey. You will continue to get the unattainable support from your mentors and your club members. Most importantly, you will be able to represent our club in the World Champion of Public Speaking contest. Will you attend the meeting from now on? Please help me to help you. Well, members appreciated my trust, but my dream of getting role players went burst. Then I tried the supportive communication style. Using supportive communication style, you can earn the audience trust by providing them with assurance. And what I did was, hello team, I know you have been working really hard in achieving your communication and your leadership journey. We, the club officers and leaders, are here to help you and support you. We will assure you to get everything that you get the value of the $45 that you are spending here at Toastmasters. We promise to provide quality meetings. I hope that now you will join the meeting. I was expecting some pads for this, but all I got were brick pads. Later on, I experimented with the initiating communication style. Initiating communication style values interacting with others, sharing your stories and thoughts. For example, what I did was, my dear members, think of the time you joined Toastmasters. What was your purpose of joining Toastmasters? What was your goal? Have you achieved that goal? If not, then it's time to achieve your leadership goal. After initiating this, my pitch to the members told me what a nice tale, but the techniques failed. And then finally, I thought of developing the analytical style of communication. Well, the analytical style deals with telling the sales value, or rather the figures and the numbers. And what I did was, dear folks, 1 in every 200 members who joined Toastmasters achieved the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. If you want to be the one, the rarest of the rare Toastmaster, attend meetings, pick up the roles, and continue and develop your leadership journey and be a DTM. Well, to my surprise, members kept coming in. That made me singing. Well, that was the time I discovered that my communication style is the analytical style of communication. Well, until this, I realized that what my communication style is, because I was unaware of that. But recently, when I did a little research about my project, I find out that my communication style is different in different scenarios. And for you too, it is different in different scenarios. And I related it to Toastmasters. How? Let me tell you. Whenever a new guest comes to visit our club, it is the responsibility of the vice president of membership to take the follow-up and initiate the conversation with him. He is very sociable, energetic, enthusiastic, and a friend, and creates a friendly environment. Exactly like Toastmaster Dityendu, showing initiative communication style. And when it's time for the sergeant at arms to open the meeting, always on time, very focused, task-oriented. He doesn't want to waste the time and is not shy to ask for the help. If required, he will not beat around the bush and wants the work to be done in an efficient and an effective manner. And he is none other than Toastmaster Lokesh, showing a direct communication style. And yes, that's my observation, so no offense to anyone. Now, coming on to a mentor who is always there to support us in any manner. He is very calm, loving, have a steady approach. He has a supportive communication style and ensures everyone is comfortable around him. Next, coming to the second important role, the role of an evaluator. Showing the analytical communication style. Is precise, concise. A person showing analytics, showing the sales figures, and also showing the numbers. Exactly like an evaluator showing his report of a speech in commendation, recommendation, and commendation approach. Well, I find out that an evaluator is a perfect person to do this role. Well, communication style, your Toastmasters, is a vehicle that you have to apply to go to the right direction. And this style needs not to be different from where you want to go. You have to choose your communication style of where you want to go. Because communication is not what you thought you said. It is what others thought you said. I have discovered my style. Have you? Toastmaster of the day.
The Toastmaster Mike, thank you. Yes, you're absolutely right. Communication is the foundation of personal development. It is a solvent, if I may say, for all our problems. So yes, and you put it beautifully. SAID was a beautiful acronym. Thank you for that. Thank you. And let's have quick 1 minute to share feedback. We welcome everybody, including guests and other role players, to share their feedback with Toastmaster Mehak through chat. I'll time it. The time starts now. Okay, I count back from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you everybody for sharing. Yes, if you're already typing, you can feel free to go ahead and type. So with that, our first segment of Prepare Speeches is done. Before we move on to the next segment, which is the impromptu speaking, where we welcome guests, what I would like to do is show you the next step in chip designing. So just now we saw the inside of a chip. Now we know that it's lots of circuits and transistors and capacitors and resistors that make up that complex little thing, which is more often than not smaller than our fingernail, right? And what's interesting is that usually you see this black box here. The transistors are integrated or inside the black box. The capacitors and resistors are slightly larger in size, so they cannot be fitted into this black box. Okay, so the capacitors and transistors are the ones which are the other pins that you see here. And from a distance, actually, this chip looks like the map of a city with buildings and blocks. Okay, let me move on with a little bit of more chip designing. Okay, so what happens is, see, we know what goes. It's basically the circuit diagrams that go inside designing a chip. So there are electronic engineers, okay, who are working in companies like Qualcomm or Taiwan Semiconductor Industry, MediaTek, Apple, who are actually sitting down to design these chips. So what do they do when they design? They don't create this little board. What they do is actually use software applications that are called EDA. EDA means Electronic Design Automation. Let me break it apart for you. So basically, these software applications help automate electronic designs. Okay, or rather, let me just simplify it more. These software applications help automate designs for electronic gadgets. Okay, so the electronic engineers and companies like Qualcomm, Apple, MediaTek, or Intel, they use software applications that are called EDA, okay, to design the inside or the functions of these chips. Okay, so what they do is, at a high level, very high level, they define a chip function. A chip function could be, like, for example, I shared the microwave function, that heat, if I press 10, heat the food for 10 seconds. Okay, that's a specific chip function. So they will draw a circuit diagram, okay, for which will help or turn on or connect or turn on the microwave for 10 seconds. Okay, and all the inside the LEDs and functions of a microwave. So once they draw a circuit diagram, they will test its functionality. These EDA applications have the capability to test the functionality, okay, either by simulating the function, okay, which is giving it a false environment of a microwave, or by emulating it. That means they put that chip in an actual piece of hardware and test it out before they create the hard chip. Okay, and EDA is close to me because I am working for one of the EDA companies. Okay, so that is how it becomes close to me. Once the chip has been tested and it has been optimized, its performance checked and rechecked, this chip design is what is sent to fabrication units or foundries. Okay, now these foundries, trust me, are like big hospitals which are speckless, and they're probably 100 times more clean than any of the best hospitals you've ever visited. And people are controlling the inside of these factories or these huge fabrication units sitting outside. So they're only robots which are allowed inside that fabrication unit. Okay, it's all automated. What is being done in those big factories? The chip design that this electronic engineer created, okay, those are being printed on the chip board. How is the chipboard prepared? I'll tell you in the next segment after our table topics. Any questions so far from anybody? Something that you want to know, or I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to share. Yeah. Okay, I get a nod from Diptendu.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yes. Okay. Deepak? Or are you tuning off?
No, it's clear.
Okay. Right. So the active listener is going to ask questions. So we better, if you want to ask me questions right now, it is your chance. Otherwise, the active listener is going to ask us questions. Okay. So next up, we have our table topic session, and I would urge all guests also to participate. And for that, I will invite our table topic master, Toastmaster Diptendu, on the virtual podium to conduct the second segment or the second section of the Toastmasters meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Diptendu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepthi. Welcome to the table topics section of today's meeting. This is going to be an interesting section because the theme itself is so very interesting and it affects every aspect of our life. Without chips, we cannot survive even one day. The only thing is that we don't see chips with our naked eyes on a daily basis, so maybe we don't realize the importance of chips. But without a chip, we would definitely die because our water purifier won't work. So let us go through some topics, and in this table topic section, I request all the guests to come up, take this chance to speak on a topic which is completely new for them. I will share my screen now. Is my screen visible? So great. Who is going to be the first volunteer for table topics section in today's meeting? Someone who hasn't spoken up until now. I see Toastmaster Lokesh's hand is raised, and
his hand is raised by default in the table topic section.
That's how it has to be. That we have to be hyper proactive. That's how we
If you
go.
have to, if you have to win the International Table Topic Master Award, you need to be practicing.
We have to practice as much as we possibly can. But I see Toastmaster Lavina's hand also raised. So let us request Toastmaster Lavina to turn on the camera. Toastmaster Lavina, can we have the can you turn on your camera? It would be great to see you as you speak. Fantastic. Great. So Toastmaster Lavina, you will now see a topic. Just take a few seconds to think about it and then you can start speaking. So Toastmaster Lavina, the topic for you is, So the topic for you is a smart gadget you would like to invent. A smart gadget you would like to invent.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jitendra, for the topic. I think this would be a brilliant idea. As far as I have seen a couple of ideas coming out in this area. So this is actually my daughter's idea. So she wants to make a gadget, a machine, which we can plug in, and it would as soon as it gets plugged in, it starts acting like a carbon sink.
Okay.
So just as an FYI, a carbon sink is something that can absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The best example is the natural, and the best example are trees, which are a carbon sink. Sorry, my throat is not well. So, so this gadget is supposed to be, having a sort of adjustment dials wherein we can, check what is the, as in amount of carbon dioxide in a particular room or a particular place, and according to the levels of pollution we could switch on the syncing mechanism of that gadget, and we can have different options for different kind of pollutions. So the major one being carbon dioxide, which is the cause of the great climate crisis, and plus the other minor ones like the CFCs, like the PFCs, or the sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and stuff like that. So that was we spent couple of hours every alternate days discussing this topic, and it's very close to my heart, and I wish that someday in the future this weird gadget comes into existence, and I and my daughter are a part of the making of this great gadget. Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant idea, Toastmaster Lavina. I absolutely loved it. A carbon sink gadget. What if we could have a small portable gadget which could be used in common households? My God, what an idea. It was fantastic. And I can see that Toastmaster Deepak has also raised his hand. So, Toastmaster Deepak, I invite you on the virtual stage to take the next topic, and after that, we'll have Toastmaster Lokesh. So, Toastmaster Deepak, the topic for you is this: how would a robot household help impact human beings? How would a robot household help impact human beings? Toastmaster Deepak.
Uh, Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. This is a wonderful topic, and this is very timely because I recently shopped for Alexa, a smart device which can take voice instructions and can make your home smarter. And then you can, for example, if you want to switch on your geyser or any other electronic appliance or electrical appliance, you want to automate it, you can just give a voice command or do a scheduling and it will automatically start. So this is very unique concept, and I think this is the future. And we have been this has been evolving over the time, and it will help uh, create better homes which will improve our lifestyles as we go ahead. So for example, if you are working in office, like most of us are working from home right now, but imagine a scenario where your home office, or where you are gone outside home, and you are expecting to arrive at home in next 1 or 2 hours. What you can do is you can remotely schedule the air conditioning to be on, and it will the home would be cooled like when you are in when you reach. So this will help you also save electricity many times so these smart devices, I think it's very relevant to the topic we have right now. The theme of the day related to chips, it would not have been possible without chips being there. So yeah, I would encourage, do embrace this technology, and because as Amitabh Bachchan quoted, the people who are, so I'm translating his Hindi version to an English version. So he said that people who work according to the time are the people who survive, and who don't live with times, they fall behind. So he has implemented it by moving from the big screen to the small screen. So and you can see the success he's achieved it in the old days. So yeah, that's me. Back to you, Toastmaster Diptendu. Thank you.
Wonderful, Toastmaster Deepak. I think this is a topic which is close to many of our hearts because we are so surrounded by technology and we are trying to leverage technology to our benefit in unique ways. And the great idea that Toastmaster Lavina had talked about, a carbon sink, that would need some chips. Toastmaster Deepak, you could think of passing the idea on to your company that making a chip to detect carbon in the atmosphere. One, of course, there are chips available to detect the heat in a system. They are quite common. They are known as thermostats. So we would need a chip for that as well if you want to make a device like the one Toastmaster Lavina said. And Toastmaster Deepak, thoroughly enjoyed listening to your insights. Let's move on. Now, as I promised, it's going to be Toastmaster Lokesh's turn. So Toastmaster Lokesh, I wrote one topic in today's table topics, and I was hoping that I give this topic only and only to you because I'm sure that you are the best placed and best suited to talk about this topic. So here goes. So which enhancement in in-cabin facilities do you find the most useful? And when I say in-cabin, I mean car. So which enhancement in in-cabin facilities do you find the most useful? And I'm talking about a car here.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jitendu. I will not use infallible content to make all understand what exactly is the best feature in my car, and it should be in all the other cars. One way to look at it is the more AI is involved in the car, which is artificial intelligence. Some of it is already in there in the smartest of cars. However, if it can happen in budgeted cars, it can save a lot of effort, lot of stress for many people. If you look at the car industry, the biggest user of cars are the mid segment and the smaller segment cars. The luxurious features and one of the most important, which, as you asked me, is especially the feature of having your AC switched on, which the previous speaker also talked about, that you should have your a chip design where you can easily have your air condition on. It not only saves a lot of energy and efficiency of the car, but also make you feel comfortable while you're coming out of a meeting or coming out of home and you straight away get into the same environment. I read an article on my car and it mentioned that your car should be at least a minute ready to roll before you even start and go about it. So this feature in my car to start it while I'm not even driving it and I'm just ready to leave also makes it fuel efficient. So I would say that's the best feature any car can have, and it should be in all the cars. Thank you very much.
Very interesting, Toastmaster Lokesh. And yes, in-cabin facilities for a car are increasing and improving day by day. And but Lokesh, we Indians, we are a bunch of lazy people, and with so many facilities in the car, and when we step into a car filled with AI facilities, we might just go to sleep instead of driving. It's so comfortable. But yeah. So let's move on, and I see that Toastmaster Rashmi has raised her hand. So I would request Toastmaster Rashmi to turn on her video so that we can see her while she speaks, and I will also share the topic.
Diptendu, last topic, please.
Okay, last topic. Okay.
I
So
am not able to turn on my camera, so sorry about that.
you're not able to turn on your camera?
No,
Okay.
actually it's broken.
Oh, all right. All right, that's all right. So, anyways, the topic. Anyone else though? I mean, if anyone else would like to speak, I mean, it would be great to have. Toastmaster Lokesh, are
I
you
don't
saying?
have my camera.
Anusha,
I
can you
also
turn on
don't
your
have my
camera?
camera.
Oh, you don't have a
No,
camera,
that's my
right?
problem too. Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So, Rashmi, let's have our guest, Toastmaster Anusha, to speak on one
Sure,
topic.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So, Anusha, I'm going to share a topic with you now. So, this is the topic. Have a conversation with your washing machine, asking it to improve itself.
Hey, Miss LG, what's wrong with you? I ask you to come on and you refuse to come on? Are you like my husband who doesn't like to speak when he's spoken to? Well, I'm not asking you to speak. I'm asking you to come on. Let the speech begin. Let your speech begin, LG. Come on, start moving. I don't plan to have anything to do with you, Anusha. I don't intend to have the washing machine that is me. Come on. But why? That's a basic requirement. I bought you because I thought you would function. My problem is I function only with people who are very, very conversant with me, and you, I find, are absolutely not tech savvy. Listen, LG, I didn't buy you to have you sit and act like you're my boss. I refuse to come on. Look, washing machine, you have so many modalities to function in. You have the ability to hand wash my clothes. You have the ability to wash my clothes in a quick fashion at the quick 30 level. At least work at the quick 30 level and come on. Quick 30 is meant for people in their quick 30s. You are not in your quick 30s, so you cannot function. I cannot function. LG washing machine, come on. It's time for you to give me the clothes that I asked you to give. Well, if it's the clothes you want, it's the clothes you can have. I did not promise you that I would wash the clothes. The clothes are in the machine, and here they are. And the washing machine opens and out topple all the dirty clothes onto the floor. And the washing machine has lived up to its promise of not washing my clothes. So, having a conversation with an intelligent machine is a pain because it doesn't think, and at the same time, it thinks so much. So, that's the learning for me. Have a machine which will listen to me rather than have a machine which will lecture me, because lectures are only for Toastmasters and not a Toastmaster machine. Back to the table topics, Master.
Wonderful, wonderful, Toastmaster Anusha. So clearly, if you want a Toastmaster, if you want the washing machine to start functioning when you give it a voice command, you'll need a chip for that. If you want a washing machine to eject clothes after a round of washing and drying, you will definitely need a chip for that. So our lives are being driven by chips, and it is going to be even more ubiquitous in the times to come. And I hope you enjoyed today's table topics because it gives a sense of how technology is all around us, and and chip is at the heart of technology. Without chips, there is no modern technology. With that, I hand the virtual stage back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dipendu, and thank you for driving in the fact that that it is imperative for us to understand what chips are actually. So, in continuation with what I was presenting, what we last saw on my slide was that these fabrication units receive the design, okay, for a particular chip function. Now starts the beautiful work. How do we get this green board with so many pins and designs on it? See, this green board, can you imagine, is made up of sand. The most abundant element on earth is sand. Yes, even the beach sand, the sand that you go to, you can collect or in your fist in Goa. So, and apparently, the purest sand that these companies get is from Australia. Okay, so they bring that all that sand, they purify it, Now, how many of you remember the crystallization, the salt crystallization experiments in school? Okay, at least you remember that there was something like that. So basically what they do is they bring that sand, and to purify that sand, they use the crystallization process. So they melt that sand. It basically it is silicon dioxide, right? So they heat it at huge temperatures, something as high as 1800 degrees Celsius in big furnaces. They melt it, they purify it, and then they use a very strange technology, okay, which is, they have a small thin cylinder around which the liquid keeps revolving at a slow speed. And ultimately that silicon, okay, the melted silicon actually forms cylindrical like structure around that pipe, okay, and the silicon crystal is actually like a cylinder. It's a beautiful transparent cylinder, okay. So it is this transparent cylinder which is cut or sliced into thin wafer-like chips, okay. And those wafer-like chips are the ones which have the printed design and the integrated chips and the pins which are put on it after a very complex process. Okay, and there's a very cool term called lithography, okay, which is used, that is a process which is used to print or to impress this design, these transistors, capacitors, the integrated black buttons onto that wafer. Okay, that is the process that is done to get a circular chip, which is then cut and supplied. It is cut, tested, and then supplied to the different companies, like probably your Apple or your Intel. Okay, so the beautiful thing here that I wanted to bring out was that the green board that we see here is not actually green, and it is made up of sand, which is one of the, I think it is the second most abundant material or element on the surface of the earth. And it is this which is used to create. And why silicon? Can somebody tell me that? Why not the first or the most abundant element? Why don't they use that? Anybody? Any wild guess? Silicon is a semiconductor. Okay. What is a semiconductor? Conductor is something which transfers electricity, right? Okay. Any metal will be a conductor. Semiconductor means it is half a conductor. So it will transfer electricity in some conditions and it will not transfer electricity in some other condition. That is a property of silicon which electronic industry has capitalized on. And that is why they have these boards which are semiconductors. So if you pass current, if certain conditions are met, then current passes through. That means if a switch is turned on, okay, current passes through, your battery starts charging, the battery of the phone starts charging, or your camera is turned on. Okay, if that switch or that camera button is off, the camera shutter is down, or your battery stops charging. So that is why they use silicon. Okay, so silicon basically is a semiconductor, and that is why these are also called semiconductor chips. Okay, or this is also called the semiconductor industry. So these are all related terms. Okay, so on that note, I pass on to a general evaluator, Toastmaster Diptendu, after which we'll have the last and the most interactive, hopefully, segment of the TMOT session. Okay, so over to you, Toastmaster Diptendu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepti. So welcome to the general evaluation section of today's meeting. First up, we'll have speech evaluations, then we'll listen from the supplementary role players, and we'll close the session with the general evaluator's report. So I would first like to invite on stage Toastmaster Navjot's speech evaluator to share evaluation of his speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. Toastmaster Navjot's Barar's speech made me remember a short story. There was a boy in the school who volunteered to be in the annual day activities. Never he would have thought of meeting the chief guest. But the energy of the chief guest and how she met all the volunteers of the event made the boy choose her as a role model for years.
The speaker's energy today made me remember the moment that happened 33 years ago in my life. The chief guest was none other than the first woman IPS, Miss Kiran Bedi, and the boy was myself, way back in 1989. The speaker's content was to the point, as one of the dynamic leadership attributes is staying to the point. It was also tabulated and related to the title. Because when you tabulate, you can reduce 1 or 2 points depending upon how much time is left. So I give full marks to him on planning his timings. Few things I recommend the speaker are: end of the sentence becomes a little shallow. Please go back and listen to the speech in the YouTube, and you will notice that last 2 words or last word was, it's an online meeting. Some of the people were not able to understand what was the last word you said. Good speakers have little higher pitch tone when they finish the sentence, and you might want to implement that. He did mention an example from his life about how he delivered 40 plus speeches so far by taking action rather than planning the why and how of the process. However, little more in storytelling way in the other examples that relate to Elon Musk examples are recommended. Best speakers also make sure to add the word of the day so that they grab the brownie points when you compete in inter-club or a zonal or international level competitions. I will strongly urge the speaker to repeat the same speech at a different club or with a different evaluator in the next meeting to see the difference. I'm happy to see that he was delivering his speech while standing. Hand movements were in sync with the words, and he kept the audience engaged. All the very best for your next speech, Toastmaster Navjot Brar. Back to General Evaluator Toastmaster Tcst'S.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lokesh. That was a great evaluation from you. You formatted the evaluation very well and conveyed the areas of improvements. After all, we get to learn from the recommendations, don't we? So thank you for sharing your evaluation with us. On to Toastmaster Mehek's speech, and I evaluated her speech. The evaluation is as follows. Toastmaster Mehek's speech started with a bang. She had expressive vocals right out of the gate. And that is how she hooked me as the audience. The goal of the beginning of the speech is to hook the audience, and Toastmaster Mehek, through the use of her expressive vocals, reeled me in with the very first statement. She then went on to talk about a real life situation and use the phrase beg, borrow, and bully to map it with the real life situation. Not only did she have the real life situation mapping it to beg, borrow, and bully, but then she also substantiated it with examples. This conveyed a lot of authenticity, and it is a hallmark of good storytelling where you are able to use analogies and map it to a real life situation, or where you are able to use idioms and phrases and then map it to a real life situation. So 2 thumbs up to Toastmaster Mehek for displaying authenticity and good storytelling skills in the first couple of minutes of the speech. I then noticed that since the theme of the speech was exploring various communication styles, so the phrase communication styles was used quite often by Toastmaster Mehek, and my recommendation is to avoid using the phrase communication styles too often in the speech. Rather, just go ahead with the examples and stories, and then when you are in the second half of the speech or in the conclusion section of the speech, then you can summarize all the communication styles that you have talked about. One more phrase that I heard in Toastmasters' next speech was unattainable support. The combination of the words itself is incorrect. Probably she meant something else. Probably she meant unconditional support of club members. But so this is where we have to be very careful with the words we use, because when you have attracted the audience with the kind of beginning that you have made, then the audience will listen to each word and each phrase coming out of your mouth. But what took my heart away was that hands, face, voice, and most importantly, the smile of Toastmaster Mehek during the entire speech increased the impact of the speech by at least 50%. What is the role of these gestures? These gestures convey authenticity. These gestures convey conviction, confidence, and they keep the audience with yourself. So as far as gestures are concerned, I would rate Toastmaster Mehek 20 on 10. Fantastic. I did observe few good word plays as well from Toastmaster Mehek. For example, pats and brick pats. So this was great. But something in the speech, but the speech was quite verbose according to me. It made it difficult for me to follow because the pace at which Toastmaster Mehak was speaking was a little faster than I was comfortable with. Also, there was a lot of content because during the first part of the speech, she was talking from personal experiences, and in the second part of the speech, she mapped communication styles with the roles at Toastmaster. So I think it was quite verbose. Probably she should sit with a trimmer and an editor and cut down the content, use pauses, and then think how to convey the same message. The last 2 minutes of the speech were excellent, wherein Toastmaster Mehak explained different leadership styles in different situations. All in all, Toastmaster Mehak, with the kind of gestures and expressions you have and the command on English language, if only you can reduce and edit the content that you speak, you are going to get a 20 on 10 in all aspects every time. Thank you very much. And that was the evaluation for Toastmaster Mehek. Let us now move on to the supplementary role players. So today the role of timer was played by Toastmaster Ruma. Toastmaster Ruma, can I request you to share the timer's report for today?
On WhatsApp?
You can, so you have to speak the report out in front of all of us, and then you can also share the report either on WhatsApp or on the chat in Zoom.
So I have prepared the sheet which I have not clearly mentioned the timings you have taken, but everybody is well within time. Even the prepared speech evaluation, Dipendu, you just crossed the limit while evaluating Mahek's speech. Otherwise, everybody wasn't well within the time limit. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to pinpoint the exact minutes and seconds, but yes, you were well within time, except last evaluation.
Okay.
Mahek's evaluation.
All right, Toastmaster Ruma, thank you very much. Let us move on to grammarian for today's meeting. Toastmaster Deepak, the virtual stage is yours. Please share your report with us.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. So for the word of the day, we had only one usage by Toastmaster Lokesh. In terms of improvement, I think I didn't observe much grammatical errors. Only one observation from Speaker 1, Toastmaster Mehek. Speaker 2, Toastmaster Mehek. In her speech, she mentioned, recently I find out. And a suggestion would be, recently I found out. In terms of words that were used, which were good, which can be good usage going forward, I think and phrases as well, saying, so they tend to use evaluate to motivate. Toastmaster Navjot used analysis paralysis, not left single stone unturned. And he also used repetition, which is a good use to make in terms of improving your speech and make it more impactful. Everybody said no repetition 3 times, so that's very good usage. Navjot, Dipti, Toastmaster Dipti used a quote by Elon Musk, ordinary men can be extraordinary. So well done, Dipti. Mehek, this was called out by Toastmaster Diptendu as well. She used a phrase beg, borrow, and bully, which was very effective. Well done. There were also very good usage by many other Toastmasters, like modalities, abandoned, substantiated, authenticity, conviction. I enjoyed being the Toastmaster, the grammarian of the day, and I learned a lot. So thank you everyone for using the grammar so effectively. And that's me. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Diptendu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak. Thank you so very much for that report. And let us continue with the next supplementary role player, that is Toastmaster Rashmi as the accountant. Toastmaster Rashmi, the virtual stage is yours. Can you please share the accountant's report? Rashmi, we cannot hear you.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. So, first of all, Dipti ma'am, she used few hours and she repeated very time. So, okay. Lokesh ji, few hours, no repeated word. Navjot ji, fluent. Diptendu ji, you are also fluent. You used so few times, but that was essential for the sentence understanding. Mehak, well, she used well 2 times, but I think that was also part of a sentence. Lavina, many hours. She used many hours, and she repeated so multiple times. Deepak ji, he used many hours and so repeated by multiple times. Lokesh ji, again Lokesh ji, Anusha ji, they were fluent. Everyone fluent after that.
All right then. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rashmi. What a thorough report you have created. And yeah, so we have completed the speech evaluations and the supplementary role players evaluations. I would now state my comments as the general evaluator, and then we'll move on to the active listening session. So the meeting today started 15 minutes late, and which is something we have to be aware of. We should always try to start the meeting on time, even if an anchor role player is missing. We still have to back ourselves, push ourselves to start the meeting on time. So of course we can plan better. We can do some follow up half an hour before the meeting. And in worst case scenario, we should just start the meeting with the bare minimum people we have. So that is one area of improvement for us as a club. Moving on, the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Deepti, had a presentation, had a PowerPoint presentation to assess her theme, and I think it made it easy for her to explain the theme, and it really made things easy for the audience to follow and understand. So this is how we use technology to our advantage to make life easy and to help each other understand things better. Also, the theme was technically complex, but Toastmaster Deepti made it palatable and understandable for the audience. And this is what is needed actually to ignite interest in a field. Because otherwise, how will we motivate others to start exploring about new fields? We have to give them a teaser, a trailer, an appreciation of a new field. For example, chip design in today's case, and maybe a youngster might think, Mehak might think of pursuing a master's in embedded systems after completing her graduation. And of course, I certainly will go back to my books and read about chip design again because I work in the field. So the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Deepti, performed her role extremely well. She kept the meeting moving at a very brisk pace, and that is what's needed. Moving on, the meeting during the meeting, I think all of us managed uncertainty quite well. Our counter's role was taken up by Toastmaster Rashmi during the general evaluators introductory section. So I want to applaud Toastmaster Rashmi for that. And this is again one of the learnings we have at Toastmasters, how to react to uncertainties with a smile and with positivity. And in fact, we don't have a choice. I mean, can we blame the accountant for not showing up in the meeting? No. At that point, we have to perform the job. So performing the job itself is more important, and Toastmaster Rashmi did a fantastic job with it. As far as the evaluations are concerned, evaluation by Toastmaster Lokesh was on point. It was a very well formatted evaluation, and like I mentioned earlier, he presented the areas of improvement, which is very important. So well done, Toastmaster Lokesh. And as far as supplementary roles are concerned, we have to prepare for the roles before the meeting. We had a very good example of Toastmaster Rashmi presenting the R counters report. How important are these supplementary roles? When a role player performs the role of a timer, a grammarian, and an R counter well, with diligence, with thoroughness, that is when we get to understand the value that these supplementary roles have. So again, I want to salute Toastmaster Rashmi for presenting the detailed accountants report, because I know that I, as a speaker, I look forward to the accountants report, and when he or she says that I was fluent, it makes me feel good. And when they say that I used some crutch words or I fumbled at some places, it definitely sticks in my mind, and I think, why did it happen and how can I improve? So the supplementary roles are extremely important, and if we are not aware of how to execute those roles, we should think about them a few minutes before the meeting. It doesn't take much time. All in all, I think today's meeting went really well with a great theme. The table topics were in line with the theme. All the table topic speakers were also very good. In fact, some comments about the table topic speakers, Toastmaster Lavina came up with a fantastic idea. What a brilliant concept. But she used the word sorry and FII in her speech, which is absolutely not needed, and there is no place for a sorry and an FII in a public speech. And I understand why people use these phrases, but it just remove FII and you will see the sentence still makes sense. So Toastmaster Deepak made an attempt. I would suggest Toastmaster Deepak, while attempting table topics, always make an attempt to come back to the topic and close the loop. So you start speaking on a topic and you build up a theme, a context, and you explain your opinion. And then somehow, someday, if you can just hit the topic again and close the loop, it makes the entire experience very, very consistent and cohesive. So, but otherwise, Toastmaster Deepak spoke very well and he was on point. And of course, Toastmaster Anusha was brilliant with her vocal chops, and she acted out the conversation. So despite the fact we were not able to see her, I was very well able to visualize the kind of conversation she was having with washing machine. So this is something all of us can take away home and learn from her. And Toastmaster Lokesh was again on topic. When it comes to table topics, the biggest challenge is to stick to the topic, and Toastmaster Lokesh did that very well. And all of us should endeavor to stick to the topic when attempting table topics. So all in all, a fantastic meeting. I'm sure all of us learned something today and can take something back to the drawing board and enhance our learnings. So with that, I hand the virtual stage back to Toastmaster Deep.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptenu. We'll have a quick active listening section with
yes.
Toastmaster Rashmi. Yes, and
Yeah.
then I'll conclude the topic with some interesting facts.
Sure. Toastmaster Rashmi, I'm very sorry. It was my job to introduce you as the active listener. Yeah, waiting for it.
Please let me know the time limit and I'll just start my questionnaire.
Yes, you can ask 4 to 5 questions. 4 questions is good.
4 to 5 questions. Full form of ASIC. Anybody? ASIC. Full form of ASIC. Apart from Dipti ma'am. Yes, Dipti ji.
So it is application specific integrated circuit.
Yes, right. Now, okay, next question. Navjot sir said, when I go into sales, when he go into sales, what people say? Anybody? When Navjot sir, yes, Dipti ma'am.
I think he said that you're not good at it.
Something similar.
No, he said it is doomed to fail.
No.
Toastmaster Deepak.
Navjot ji? Am I right?
Let's Toastmaster Deepak try.
Okay. Deepak sir?
Yes, so yes, that's correct repetition. No. Times, yeah, he said that.
Deepak sir is right. Okay, next question. Favorite quote of Elon by Dipti ma'am.
Didn't understand that question.
Dipti ma'am mentioned a favorite quote by Elon Musk.
The ordinary man can also be extraordinary.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Location. Okay. Okay. This one. Silicon is dash.
A semiconductor.
Yes, location. Very good. Okay. Apart from Diptendo or location, in cabin facility. In cabin facility given by Diptendo sir. In cabin facility.
What about that?
Diptendo sir mentioned in cabin facility in a table topic session for Lokesh sir.
So what was the facility I recommend?
What he recommend? He specifically mentioned in cabin facility for this specific 2 or 3 times. Okay, no one? Car.
Car
After
air
that,
condition to switch on.
yeah, yes. Then Lokesh sir specified the car. Okay, one more question. Anusha ma'am. She make comparison washing machine first. She compare her washing machine with
Listening rather than lecturing.
She compared it with husband.
Yes, husband. And she said she sit and act like a washing machine to washing machine. Sit and act like a anyone? Mehak, can you try? Boss. Anisha ma'am said boss. Sit and act like my boss. Don't. And also. Okay, Lokesh T. And Lokesh T specified specifically feature of dash in the car. Specific feature of in car.
The
Dipti ma'am.
turn on, the switch on facility of the car.
No.
No, okay.
Turn on.
Air conditioner.
Yes, air conditioner.
Yeah.
That's it. I have a okay. Lavina said gadget. Can anyone guess what was her gadget?
Carbon thing.
Yes. Good. Okay, the Tendo sir said without and IC looks like a integrated circuit, looks like a anyone? What it looks like?
Is it a city? Map of a city?
Yes, Lavina.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Last question.
Thank you.
Dipti ma'am is working for this company. One of kind of this company.
Yes, she is working for an EDA company.
Yes. Okay, that's all from my side. Over
Thank
to
you. Thank you so much, Rashmi.
Was that hard? Too hard?
No.
Question were the
No, the questions were good.
No. They were good.
okay.
And they made sure that each one of us realizes the importance of listening actively.
Absolutely. That's the purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
Brilliant at that. So as a tech master, I have also posted the voting link. I've received some responses. The rest of you, please click on the Google link and start voting. And while you're voting, I will work towards concluding my TMOD session with something which I find very interesting. And these are going to be 4 or 5 facts that I'm going to talk about. Some from history and some from here and now. And that is why I call this particular slide then and there and here and now. So interestingly, when I was researching for this topic, I found out that in 1943, okay, a very famous man said that I think the world requires only 5 computers. Can you beat that? The world requires only 5 computers. I think in a home where we have 2 adults, 2 young children, and 2 seniors, we already have more than 5 computers in the form of touchscreen phones, laptops, smartwatches. And this famous man was Thomas Watson. He was the CEO of IBM that time. So sometimes you feel like pulling out such people from the grave and let them know, see where the world is. Right? The second interesting fact that I want to share with you is how did the term debugging came about. Now, people who are related to the IT industry or information technology understand that debugging basically means removing the errors from a piece of code. Now, what happened was in the year 1945, our computers used to weigh 30 tons. And they used to have, the kind of tube lights that we have today, okay, thin, slim, right? Those were the kind of tubes that they used to have in the computers. Now, when they used to turn on the computers, the lights used to glow, and they used to glow and they were warm. So moths used to get attracted to those lights, those vacuum tubes, and they did not let the computer work or function the way it should. That is where the term debug came from, to remove the moths away, to remove the errors away. So I found it very interesting and I wanted to share it with you. So that's how debugging came into being. Okay, there was another famous man who said that computers may not weigh more than 1.5 tons at one point in time. Now, look at and weigh your laptops and your supercomputers in your hand today and imagine 1.5 tons. So while the complexity of function execution is becoming or increasing every day, right, the weight or the size is getting smaller. That is the beauty of this industry. Okay. All right, coming to here and now, I think Lokesh sir at the start of the session today was talking about shortage of chips. I want to touch upon this. Has everybody heard that there was a shortage of chips, especially during the start of the pandemic? Please unmute, unmute and let me know why do you think it happened, or if you know the real reasons. Let us just have a quick discussion around it. Why do you think there was a shortage of chips? Lokesh sir, did you read up about it? Do you know something?
Because of the sudden lockdown, which I call the great pause. The chips are, as you mentioned, they are like, I think more than the population of the people, we have microchips manufactured around the world, and suddenly you have to stop everything. And the supply chain issues, containers are not moving here and there, and so there was a lot of chaos, and you can't move ahead unless you have a chip. Your whole car or anything which gadget you're producing,
right,
production will just stop because the right time that chip is not available.
Correct. Any other viewpoint?
Okay, Toastmaster. Yeah.
It was because the automobile manufacturers suspended manufacturing of chips due to low expectation of demand for new cars.
Because of lockdown.
Yeah.
Okay. Diptendu, what were you about to say?
Because it was kind of a bottleneck that the world was dependent on chips, for chips primarily on China manufactured chips. And since that country was severely affected by coronavirus and had a strict lockdown, so it was a bottleneck issue.
Yes. So a lot of what you all three said is right, and there's something more that I also want to add. So what happened was when the pandemic started, okay, there was a sudden surge in working from home, in remote working, okay, which increased the demand in gadgets which will help us work from home, right? Now, on one hand, this demand increased, and on the other hand, fabrication units stopped working because those are factories. Okay, somebody had to go and operate them. So those and fabrication units, the most popular ones are in Taiwan, South Korea, China, right? And that is Diptendu rightly said, they were worst hit. So fabrication units stopped producing chips. Inventory stocks were deplenished. They were completely out of inventory. Okay, and here we had an increased demand in laptops and computers and all those things, right? So that is where the shortage of chips started happening. And yes, what as a result, what happened was, especially the automobile industry, those guys took the hit. So companies like General Motors, they outright they went public and they explained that they are not going to give a certain function till the time the shortage is met or breaks even. So that is how they handled that time. So, and this shortage of chips is even on until today. They predict that it will go on until 2023. Okay, that is when the shortage of chips will actually break even, and all the industry, the entire set of industries which require those chips will actually come to a streamlined time. So this is the interesting part of shortage of chips. Now comes fabrication units in India. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, Prime Minister Modi, he has now allocated budget for starting fabrication units in India. Fabrication means the actual manufacturing of the chip. So until now, India has been a huge exporter of the design for the chips, but we have not exported the built chip. But this time around, Prime Minister Modi invited people from these electronic or semiconductor industries, the CEOs of lots of companies, okay, including TSMC, Synopsys, Cadence, and all these guys, and they were here. And Prime Minister Modi has separately allocated budget for setting up fabrication units in India, and that is a beautiful news for us, which means that we might get electronic gadgets at a cheaper price, which will be built and which will probably have made in India written or inscribed on them. So with that, and looking forward to that future of chip design, I'm really excited. I'm happy to be a part of this industry, and I hope you guys will go back and look up more information, YouTube videos on chip design, on lithography, on terms like integrated circuits, on processors, on how do they manage to fit so many transistors in such a small space, which is probably even and the transistors are 1,000th size of a human hair, even if human hair size varies. So I would encourage each of you to go back and look up such terms. It will open a whole new world to you. With that, I would now like to hand over the virtual podium back to our president, Toastmaster Mehek, and I will also share the results with her through WhatsApp. I hope all of you have voted.
Yes.
Okay. I have received 6 votes, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people here, and 9 including myself. So I would need more votes. Whoever has not voted, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I heard a loud yes from Diptendu. Deepak, you were able to access? Okay. Mehek?
Yes.
Okay. Rashmi, you voted?
Yes.
Okay. Lavina? Uma ma'am and Lukesh sir? Navjot?
I'll just do it.
Okay, yes, Lavina, please do it. Rashmi, you doing it?
No, I did already.
Okay. Uma ma'am, were you able to access the Google Forms? Okay. Stage is yours, Mehek.
Yes, done it.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Deepti, for such a beautiful theme. You have given so much insights and got so much knowledge about the world of chip design that we have not been initially gone through, and we have now have so much knowledge about the chips and how they have been designed, and in India how we are being able to develop more and more electronic gadgets at a cheaper price. With this, so first I would like to take the feedback from our guest. And first, I would like to invite Toastmaster Deepa to give a feedback about how was the meeting and what did you like in the meeting.
Yeah, I think number one thing is the Toastmaster of the day was very well prepared on the theme. Second is we had 2 speeches, which was very, like, I think I can see the dedication the Toastmasters have for their development. So yeah, very encouraging to see that. And overall, like the Toastmaster Diptendu, he had very positive tone in terms when he was evaluating and also when he was performing the general evaluator role. So yeah, I really enjoyed all those things and learned something from everyone. So thank you very much for this wonderful meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepak, for your valuable feedback. And we hope that you will keep joining us for more in the future meetings. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Rashmi to give a feedback about the meeting. What did you like about the meeting?
Dipti ma'am, like always, she was well prepared and she delivered something more on her level. And Ditendra sir, he always teaches me something extra. I am shortage of words actually. Next time I'll learn few more English word and say more. Thank you for giving me chance. But I love all you. One sentence, I love your meetings, and I'm taking something from you, and I'm implementing myself. These things I implementing, and that's a very important for me to come here to listen to you and to take away from you. That's from my side. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rashmi, for joining in today and for your such valuable feedback. And I hope that you will join us in the future as well. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Uma to give her feedback about the meeting and what she liked.
As always, meeting is very good, very informative, and there's a lot of things to learn. And I picked few things and try to incorporate. But yes, there is still long way to go. But I have a request for the group to, to the newcomers, you should give us some kind of how to do type. Because today I was, though assigned, I tried to manage, but it was difficult because I don't know how to do it. I just downloaded some timer and then, so the process was not clear to me. So I need, everybody needs for the first time some guidance. So I needed some guidance, which was, I think, I should have been given. That's what. Sorry for complaints.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Uma, and definitely we will definitely work on this thing, and we'll make sure that from the next time all the newcomers are well informed and well informed in time about the role and what they really need to do in the meetings beforehand. So thank you so much for your feedback.
Sorry for interruption. Though Dikti ma'am gave me all the information, but to gel with all the information and to perform, I'm a tube line. Sorry. Thank you.
Well, for the first timers, it actually happens, and you will eventually learn when you will see the meetings. And when now you have performed the role so beautifully, the next time you will definitely improve upon it.
Thank you so much.
Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Ravina to give the small feedback about how she liked the meeting and what did she like.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak. I think the meeting was brilliant, and like always, Deepti ma'am and Dipendu sir, Lokesh sir, they were the stars, and yeah, very nice brilliant speeches through all the sections, and I enjoyed the active listener session the most, as well as the table topic section. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavina, for joining in. And it was a pleasure to have you for the meeting today. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Navjot to tell us what did you like about the meeting.
Thank you, President. First of all, I really enjoyed your speech, and you are a great communicator. And if I would be like go back in time and learn like even 50% what you have learned at this age, it would be great. Yeah, rest we were late. That's obvious. Everybody knows, and we can work around that. Yeah, I like the meeting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster Navjot. And definitely from next time, we will keep a track on the time as well. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Vandana to give a feedback about the meeting.
Namaskar, everyone. It's my first meeting, and it's really a very good platform, Toastmaster Club, and I learned a lot today. And all of you are a very good communicator, and you are very fluent in English. Now I'm thinking I should join Hindi Toastmaster Club. I'm not much confident and not much, fluent in English. So this meeting was very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vandana. Would you like to give a small description of where you came to know about the meeting?
Hanji. My niece informed me about this Toastmaster Club. Then I Googled, and then I talked to Mrs. Sarandha ma'am, and then I joined.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Vandana, for joining in. We have a guest group as well. I would request you to leave your WhatsApp number. You can directly personal chat me the WhatsApp number, and we can connect with you to give you information about the upcoming meetings.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. At which number?
You can send it in the chat, or I can drop my number in the chat. You can send me your number.
Okay, ma'am.
I have the number in the chat box. You can text me.
Hanji, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. The feedbacks are over. Now, for the time like we all have been waiting for, it's the results. Let's first start from the best role player today. Who do you think is the best role player? There were two role players, Toastmaster Tendu doubling up. And first, I would like to say that it was a very hard job for you, Toastmaster Tendu. You took two roles, that was table topic master as well as the general evaluator. So kudos to you for that. So whom do you think was the best role player today in the meeting? Any guesses?
Toastmaster Deepti.
Well, yes, it's Toastmaster Deepti, the Toastmaster of the day. Let's give a round of applause to her. Congratulations, Toastmaster Deepti. Next, coming to the best auxiliary role player. Any guesses about that?
Toastmaster Rashmi.
Yes, absolutely correct. It's Toastmaster Rashmi, both as an active listener and as an counter. Congratulations, Toastmaster Rashmi. Next, for the best table topic speaker. So for the best table topic speaker, there is a tie between Toastmaster Anusha and Toastmaster Lokesh. So congratulations to both of you. Let's give a round of an applause. Coming to the best evaluator.
Lokesh, sir.
That's also a tie between Toastmaster Diptendu and Toastmaster Lokesh. Congratulations to both of you. Now coming to
Thank
the
you.
guest speaker. There were 2 speakers today in the meeting. Any guesses?
Back-to-back winner Toastmaster Mahek.
Mehak.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, it's an honor to receive the prize. Thank you so much, everyone. Well, now on this note, I adjourn the meeting. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.